Welcome. Tonight, it's all about combination cards with the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is one of those cards that we covered last week. So this is an extension from what we've been doing, how you can actually read the Hierophant using this very special method. Combination cards, what do? They help give you very detailed readings. So you can answer questions, check into my courses, which will show you exactly the method that I use and have been using to teach students over the last 20 years. The combination of the Hierophant and the Ace of Swords. The Hierophant is astrologically associated with Taurus. The Hierophant is an institution or a school of thought of rules and regulations. Ace of Swords is all about new beginnings, to do with our thoughts and our communication. The person is asking about work, what's going to happen for me as a person and my career. If it comes up in the position of themselves, it's telling us that this person has a new way of thinking based on traditional beliefs. So here we are with the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords, and combine that with the Hierophant, we are sticking with someone who's asking about what's going to happen in their career. If we look at this combination, this is telling us that the tried and tested way in the past has not worked for this person. It's been too rigid, it's been too controlling, and they've really not been impressed or happy. It's brought about a lot of heartbreak for them. It's not worked out in their favor. What feels like rules and regulations to deal with contracts. This could be HR. Hierophant can represent human resources at work. So here's a combination that would actually say that the tried and tested way is not working. And when it comes to matters of authority and work, it's not worked out well at all. And there's a whole history of things going wrong. There's a whole lot of heartache around authority. It's been too controlling. Here we've got the Hierophant and the Five of Swords. Again, not great cards. Why? Difficulties with authority, feeling bullied, feeling mentally bullied. Mental because it's the swords. So it's about people around them are unkind, making life difficult, battling deliberately, maybe going into cliques, maybe going into groups, maybe gossiping. The swords are all about communication and our thoughts and our speech. But this is also with other people. And it's feeling overbearing. It's feeling as if this is the way it is. It's my way or the highway. Probably coming from either the Hierophant themselves, i.e., boss or somebody in charge, the person that goes by the book of rules, ethics, and obligations. The whole organization here looks as if it's quite difficult. And you are looking at mental battles with authority or people who are overbearing, maybe people who are in the position to say, do as I say, not as I do, that kind of thing. I thought I'd include this one because I think this is rather good. After looking at the other cards, this is actually going in our client's favor because what it's saying is, look, there's a loophole here. Something to do with red tape. Now, the Hierophant is all to do with red tape. So any establishments that actually turn around and say, you must do it this way. This is the book of rules and morals and ethics, and this is what you've got to do. There's a loophole. Seven of Swords. If you're smart and you think, you are able to take a back door. And maybe there's a loophole here to be able to get what you want, but still within the confinements of what the Hierophant represents, which is maybe contracts, particularly if this is the work question that we're talking about. Maybe it's a case of they're asking for X, Y, and Z, and you're in a position to give them something very similar by actually saying, oh gosh, yes, I've got that. And yes, I have that document. It's all to do with being able to do something, and their acting in one context, you're able to see the little entry point there and to seize that moment and grab that chance. So that's what this pair actually means. It's using an opportunity that is slightly unethical, but still within the confines of what this organization is standing for. And we said that this is a work question. It would be to do with the organization that that person's working for. And the Hierophant can represent councils, governments, universities, schools, hospitals, those kind of places where they are run by establishments and organizations that have certain rules, and they're not going to just take on board any old sort of requests from people. And if you can see there's a loophole, this is brilliant. This is a brilliant combination for that. So here we go, and we've got a court card, which makes things slightly more complicated. This time, instead of feeding the energy like we do in the minor cards from 1 to 10 or ace to 10, we're going to actually look at bringing in the major arcana energy into the court card. It's a great way of actually giving you a lot of information. What it means here is our Page of Swords, although a little bit in need of growth, because all pages are on their journey and they are apprentices, and hopefully they will grow and they will develop. And Page of Swords is no exception, and it's showing that communication skills here need some working on. A person right at the beginning of their journey can't be expected to do anything differently. And it's their thinking, it's their communication. So that's Page of Swords, very briefly, of course. But Hierophant, it shows that although the Page of Swords is somebody that doesn't actually know much yet because they're right at the beginning of things, and it's to do with their communication and it's to do with their thinking, it's showing they have a maturity. How do we know that? Because the Hierophant is all about traditional. It's showing they are probably somebody who's a little stubborn. A Hierophant is attached to the astrological sign of Taurus. It's also showing that they are probably confident. That Hierophant with that red robe there, it shows they have that confidence. And it shows that they are a little bit in the know and wanting to keep up appearances. The Hierophant's a great card of wanting to keep up with the Joneses, to keep up appearances. Our page is probably doing really well, despite the fact that it's in its early stages. The Hierophant's a great card to be combined with the Page of Swords. The only negative side of the Page of Swords is there is that slight naivety and there is this minor setbacks to do with anything that's to do with communication and speech. Our beautiful Page of Swords is capable of being a little bit late in communication because Page of Swords is often like Mercury in retrograde. So if you think, hold on a minute, they're a bit late with their emails, they're a bit late with their phone calls, a bit late when they speak up, there's a delay slightly when it comes to the Page of Swords. I've changed our slide to the Three of Cups and the Hierophant, so back to moving the energy of the Minor Arcana card and feeding in with our Hierophant card. Again, we're looking at this in the work context and we are saying what's going on for me at work. You've got the Three of Cups, joy, celebration. Something's being celebrated. Happy times are coming. This may be to do with post of application that's been applied for. Why? Because the Hierophant is organizations that are to do with governments, councils, schools, hospitals, education, the church itself, or certain spiritual organizations. So maybe this is, if this was a relationship reading, it would be like a contract of some sort that's joy. That could be that this is somebody that's celebrating maybe a contract engagement, I'm betrothed to you, as it were, or a contract to say it's a baptism or a marriage or something like that. If this came up in my spread and that came up in the sixth house, which is all to do with work, you could confidently say to somebody, yes, there's going to be a celebration, a lot of joy for you regarding contracts attached to work. This is why I keep saying the spread works, the spread that I use. And you can only get that on the courses because it is my signature course, and why it would completely differ if it landed in a different position in the spread that I teach. And that comes up on the intermediate course and then the advanced course. And the difference between intermediate and advanced is intermediate is a complete introduction to this method, and the advanced is continuation. We are adding more cards to the spread so that you can develop. And I did it separately because there is no way you'd be able to just take it all on in one go. It would need a little bit of time for you to start working with pairs, which this is what this YouTube channel is all about. You can read in any number of ways, but it makes it so simple and so easy if you know where to look, in your spread and which position. And do be confident when it comes to clients and actually say, we've only got limited time for a reading. What would you like to know? How can I best help you today? Sometimes they will say to you, "Just put the cards out," and I'll ask questions along the way, and that's fine. But I can tell you that I'll always run out of time, have a reading with me, and suddenly 5 minutes towards the end of the reading, my readings are set times, and then they're disappointed that they didn't ask. And now all of a sudden, boom, and they're not getting the answers. And I've gone through the reading chronologically for them because that's what they've asked me to do. And I had said, this is likely to happen. And of course, then I make another call, don't they? And try and get back to you to find out that answer to that burning question. I can understand why people do that. It's not a problem, not a problem at all. But you will find that does actually happen. And if they can cut to the chase, you've at least said, ask your question. The Hierophant on its own could mean tradition. It could mean you're working for somebody who is in an organization. If you are able to have a pair, you know that this is talking about the fact that there's a celebration to do with an establishment. Six of Cups and the Hierophant. There's some nostalgia here. It's about work. The nostalgia is they prefer the old ways at work. Or, of course, Six of Cups can be a sincere act of apology. This could mean that this person is saying, look, I really liked the old ways. I'm feeling very nostalgic about the way in which we used to work as an organization. And there is some form of apology coming from those in authority. We know it's coming from those in authority because it's the Hierophant. Another interesting one, Eight of Cups, walking away from the control, the strictness, the limitations, the organization. This person is probably saying, I'm going to cut my losses and go and see if the grass is greener somewhere else. They may not necessarily do it. And the reason I say that is, don't forget, that's what they want because it's the emotions. And how do we know it's the emotions? It's the cups. Doing something and feeling something isn't quite the same. But they feel that they want to walk. They may still care very much about it. It's just about walking away from what you care about, but feeling that you must. So this person really wants the opportunity to see if the grass is greener somewhere else, probably because of the rigid way in which the Hierophant has presented itself to them, i.e. work. This is somebody that may be looking at their options and want to desperately try another route. And this is something where you would say to your client, I think you're about to actually walk away. You need to make sure that you've got somewhere safe to go before you actually do that. And some people just go, do you know what? I'm just in a position that I've had enough. And I do like them, but I can't carry on like this. It's too rigid for me. I'm always going to get the same thing. How do you know you're always going to get the same thing? A Hierophant is about doing the same thing, all about repetition, the tried and tested, keeping up appearances, not breaking any rules, going by a book of ethics and codes, and actually dictating that. And if we look, we can see what looks like a pope in our card, sitting in a red gown there, with two followers. And those two followers are sitting there waiting for instruction from that Hierophant. Little do they know that they don't need that Hierophant, but they're being told by the powers that be, and in this case, it looks like a pope, so we'll assume it's religious. They're being dictated to that, in actual fact, this is the only way that you can speak to God or hear, and this is how you worship. This is how you have your conversations with God. And that's what that card is actually implying. And so the disciples don't realize that they can speak to God without the Hierophant, i.e., the Pope. And that's what the Pope wants them to think. You need me in order to make that connection and conversation with God. And there's nothing wrong with that, and it makes people feel very safe. But there is another way. And that's really what a Hierophant is about. This is the way to do it. There's no other way. And it's actually there is, but you're not going to like it, my dear Hierophant. But we do need rules and establishments. Otherwise, we'd have chaos if we just had things like the fluffy Empress, who's wonderful, but can't just have that. And we can't just have the High Priestess, somebody who's intuitive. We can't just have a mother figure like the Empress. We can't just have the daddy figure, just like the Emperor, who is giving us his logic and practicality, and the Empress giving us her devotion and abundance and growth, or impartial advice, like our lovely High Priestess, or the naivety of, oh, I'll just take my chances like the fool. We do need a little bit of all of the major arcana archetypes in our lives. A mixture of everything is balanced for a reason. But when it's actually feeling, as in the Eight of Cups, that it's no longer what you want, you need to be able to look at different options to see where you're at in your stage of your journey of your life and what's going on. Here's an interesting one. We have the Hierophant and the Two of Wands. We are going back to its work, of course. Keep reminding you of that. It's a work thing. And the Two of Wands in action is feeling like there is some partnership going on for this person when it comes to matters of work. And there is a tradition of two people, perhaps, because we've got the Two of Wands representing two different ways. But there is a gap in that action. Possibly, this could be that this person is working with someone who's a silent partner. And there's one person maybe doing the work, and the other person, the physical work, and taking action in that way. And the other person is maybe providing maybe the platform for that person, and maybe giving the financial backing, doing everything in that way. A good example of that, I think, that would actually give you a real clear example of what I'm talking about is, let's say that you were working for a psychic or tarot organization, and they were the ones, the Hierophant on the left, and they're the ones that are advertising, spending money, doing all the social media, paying for all the adverts in magazines, newspapers, yellow pages, whatever it is, costs a fortune. They're the ones that's taking all the financial risks. They're the ones that's doing all the red tape. They're the ones that's actually saying we take the money and then we divide it up and we take our cut. And you're the one that actually does the readings. And readers turn around and go, you know, I did that and no. That was the price that was set to be shared. And you knew what your cut would be from at reading. For example, you may turn around and pay by the minute, X, and they take Y. And you've either agreed to that or not. So it can feel as if you're miles apart and you need, a bit like a knife and fork really, need to work together, but they are two different sort of poles apart, as it were. And two of one's also a person thinking, oh, maybe I could make it on my own. Maybe I don't need you. That's really why we see our figure standing, looking at the globe in his hand of the world and looking out to see mountains in the background there, challenges. Things may get difficult, but it's a card of how I feel a bit restricted. And certainly probably do, but you can't go, I don't want this deal anymore. You could, but they'll probably turn around and say to you, it's not how we work. Sorry, off you go. And so you may need to look for something else that either you do on your own or you work with somebody else that probably gives you a better deal or something that's better for you. Six of Wands, Victories. Brilliant. This is probably a card of promotion at work, victories, or passing off courses or exams and being thrilled by the fact that you're on your way and that other people are really supporting you. We know that because Six of Wands has got those people in the background celebrating and being happy for our figure that's showing that they have had a victory in action and at work. And the ones are all about action, and ones are linked with work. And the Hierophant, of course, is the powers that be that are turning around and actually saying yes, because of your wonderful actions and the victories that you've had. We're pleased with you. We are going to reward you. Here you go. Or this could be a post of application where you've gone for an interview. It's wonderful. So, yeah, they're very happy with you. I want to offer you something. You definitely got the support of the collective. So if you're interviewed by a team, all agreeing that they liked you and they feel that you would be the person to move them forward. That's a great one. I love this combination. It's a Hierophant and Three of Pentacles. So this is really almost two things in those cards that mean the same. And that is the Hierophant is about organizations, and the Three of Pentacles is also about collaborating with things such as schools, churches, universities, hospitals, those religious figure. Even there, we've got another monk on the right. We've got the two monks below the Hierophant on the left, representing spiritual or religious organizations, just so we get the message that those in authority can make or break decisions for us. Three of Pentacles. This is not somebody that's going to run their own enterprises. This is somebody that works for big organizations, institutions. Could even be financial, of course, because you've got the Hierophant, which is linked to astrological sign of Taurus, and Taurus is about our finance, and it's a second house, which is our finance. And we've got the Pentacles. Here, it's actually saying collaborating, cooperating with other people. And this is somebody that probably is a party, lots of different parties. So a bit like a school, you'd have a headmaster, you'd have a school board, you would have the council, you would have the government, you would have the teachers, you would have the pupils. They've all got their parts to play. So I'm sure you actually get what this is about. So this would mean that this person, quite simply, isn't going to be self-employed. They're not going to be running their own enterprise. They are somebody that works for an organization. And it looks like they collaborate and cooperate rather well. The Eight of Pentacles for you. Again, carving out your own future, making things happen by skill. So this is probably a card of the self-employed. And with the Hierophant, it's showing that this person probably has contracts that are to do with organizations, but they're self-employed. So they may be going on contract. So this is probably somebody that works for themselves and then says, gosh, yes, every now and again I go and work. And again, let's keep it as if it was a tarot reader. They are self-employed, they do their own thing, and every now and again they go to an organization that probably gives them a boost. Kind of organizations would be spiritual affairs, and mind, body, and spirit, mind, body, and soul, all those kind of events where they actually have a short contract together, maybe for the day, maybe for the afternoon, maybe for the week, maybe until project is done. Obviously, of course, if it wasn't a tarot reader, it might be somebody that's going in and saying, yeah, I'm going into contract here. I'm self-employed. I'm coming in. I'm going to sort things out for you. But I'm only here for a month, 3 months, or whatever it is. And then you either take my advice and you turn things around and you implement what I've given you. But then I go back to being self-employed and I'm not employed by you. So, great combinations. On the screen at the moment, you can see that I've got a little PDF that I offer on my website, which will tell you some of the key points downloaded. You can actually see that there's lots of tips on what the colors, symbology, the planets, just very brief keynotes, but they may be really useful and helpful for you in your journey with tarot. I'll see you next time, and thank you for watching.